What's up, guys? It's me, Drowsy, back with a new video. Today, we have a video discussing Arena. We are going to be talking about the Fire Demon to begin with. The description from the manual that you get with Arena is as follows. These creatures are from the Netherworld, often gating themselves into our plane of existence in some errand of their choosing. They are dangerous foes. Highly intelligent, completely chaotic in nature, and powerful in the ways of magic. They are resistant to fire, and are subject to attack only by mithril weapons or better. They are very dangerous to face. Fire demons also have the ability to see invisible creatures. So that means, if you're one of those ones that love to get invisible, you're going to be screwed with this guy, because he's going to see you. There's no point in using that spell. Eaters. And the abilities that this fire demon does is he is resistant to fire damage, immunity to mundane weapons, and can see invisible. So, as we've discussed earlier. Now, moving swiftly on, we have the Ghoul. The description from the manual describes this as, these undead creatures are the carrion eaters of dungeons, crypts, and other burial places. They feast on human corpses and other rotting flesh. Although they are not intelligent, they have a natural cunning that aids them in finding food. Because of their vile habits, ghouls have a chance of transmitting a disease of those they bite. So, if you get diseased, you'll have to go to a temple to get healed, pretty much. These can be very challenging at low levels because they usually appear in 2 or 3 groups. Moving swiftly along anyway, we have the Ghost. The description from the manual is as follows. They were once human, but are now trapped between here and the ethereal plane. They exist as spirits only, and have a chilling effect upon those they attack. Ghosts have the ability to drain a wizard's spell points at range. Ghosts are difficult to hit and often hide themselves in the walls. They are effectively invisible. Ghosts also have the ability to see invisible creatures, so like the fire demon, they can be a bit annoying. So, it's often suggested that if you're much of a fire caster, you pretty much stay away from them. Their abilities is flight, range magicka drain, and they can see invisible people. So, yeah, ghosts. Pretty annoying creatures. Now, moving swiftly on, we have the Goblin. Now, you'll probably become familiar with the goblins in your first couple of dungeons. They will seem like the scariest creatures imaginable, along with rats. But eventually you sort of work out that these guys are pretty easy to kill. They are the weakest monsters in the game. One hit, and they're dead pretty much. The description from the manual is as follows. Goblins are vile, nasty creatures, short in stature and almost rodent-like in their frenzy to feed, stupid but dangerous to the inexperienced. So exactly as I just described. And they look pretty silly as well. So they have between 3 and 2 HP. They damage between 1 and 5. The XP they give you is 25, and they don't really have any notable abilities, so you don't need to worry about this. Moving along to our next monster, we have the Homunculus. The description is as follows. A strange being created by a high-level wizard who has somehow combined the properties of certain spells with parts of various demons. These creatures are often set to guard areas using their ability to fly to patrol corridors. They have the ability to cast spells using these effectively with their normal attacks to ward whatever areas they have to guard. So these guys can be pretty irritating. Their abilities include flight and spellcasting, so it'll be one that you'd want to look out for in a dungeon. Next we have the Hellhound. A very vile beast that, if you're not careful, can hit you in one shot, and I have been the unfortunate victim of these numerous times when they just appear out of nowhere and they shoot fireballs at you. So the description is as follows. These canines are usually from the nether planes, usually summoned by some powerful being to perform a service. They attack with their powerful jaws or with a fire breath that burns their intended victims. They are resistant to fire-based spells. This infernal wolf is usually found in the proximity of lava, and they shoot fireballs. Oh, that's actually quite an interesting little observation. And their abilities is resistant to fire and spellcasting, so it's advised that you don't attempt to use spells on them. Next we have the Ice Goblin. Golem. This guy. I have yet to defeat a golem, so this will be very useful for you as well as me. The description is as follows. Goblins are creatures created by those practiced in the arcane arts. They are fashioned from a material to resemble a human form, then animated and set to particular tasks, whether that be questing for an object or guarding a tomb. There are 3 varieties known to exist in the land: ice, stone, and iron. Any of these are dangerous, each with their own abilities, immunities, and spellcasting powers. Defeating one is worthwhile praise, as they are formidable opponents. Notes: the weakest of the 3 goblins is definitely the Ice Golem, because it is vulnerable to fire. However, invulnerable to all weapons below Elven, although fists can also hurt them, surprisingly enough. But you wouldn't want to try that, because it probably does next to nothing damage. And their abilities is the Ice Goblin is resistant to cold, immune to mundane weapons, and that's about it. Now the Iron Goblin is pretty similar in its description, apart from the fact it's made of iron, and it's slightly stronger than the Ice Goblin. It's the strongest of the 3 golems that you're likely to face, and it's immune to all weapons below Mithril. However, it's very weak to range attacks, so keep that in mind, it's quite interesting. The abilities include resistance to spells, immunity to mundane weapons. Now moving swiftly on to our next monster, we have the Lich. These creatures are wizards who have attempted to cheat death by prolonging their life through the use of spells and such, eventually turning themselves into the form of the undead. Few have ever faced such a creature and lived to tell the tale. It is known that they are very powerful, able to defeat high-level characters very easily, and able to be invisible. Ooh, that's actually quite interesting. They are known to have immunity to weapons above mithril, regeneration capabilities, and any other powers that can be associated with a level 20 plus mage. You should be cautioned. These monsters are the highest level monsters in the game, only second to Jagathan himself, and they cast powerful range electrical spells. So this guy was pretty powerful if you were to face him. Abilities include spellcasting, self-healing, and immunity to mundane weapons. So that Lynch man for you. Next we have the Lizard Man. Lizard Man, you'll come across these so often in the early dungeons. Like with the Goblin, it pretty much can be defeated in one hit. However, if you were to come across a whole horde of them, it can get slightly annoying. So anyway, the description is as follows. Once thought to be a distant cousin of the Argonians, it is often evident that those lizard men had nothing human about them whatsoever. They are a race of carnivorous reptiles, whose use of language stretches only far enough to communicate the location of their prey to the rest of their hunting party, which then move to attack and feed. And, interesting fact, thought to be distant cousins to Argonians, so you never know. Maybe something to research into. Next we have Medusa. The description is as follows. The Medusa is a creature with the upper body of a woman and the lower torso of a snake. The Medusa is a creature with the upper body of a woman and the lower torso of a snake. It withers along with its hands and body to wind its way through its lair. Medusa is a very strong and intelligent and armed with a fearsome weapon. Their gaze has the ability to paralyze. Oh my gosh. To paralyze an opponent. Because of their magical nature, they are immune to weapons below Dwarven. They are the 3rd most powerful monster. an arena after the Lich, and the vampire. Oh my god. Ability to paralyze by just looking at you. So next we have the Minotaur. Someone that's not too difficult, but when you first start off, it can be a pain. He's like a half man, half bull, and he's got a big chopping, I think it's like a butcher's knife, and he just hangs around. He's like a barbarian of sorts. But anyway, the description is as follows. These creatures have the body of a man and the head of a bull, and are cruel man-eaters. They are not particularly intelligent and can track a man by scent alone. They are very strong and slightly resistant to magic. Notes. However, they are not much stronger than an orc. They're not. Next we have the fabulous orc, who should not be confused with the orcs that you see in later games as a playable race, although actually you can. We consider them monsters in this game, but yeah, it's kind of a bit racist if you think about it. Like, these orcs, they are intelligent. They can communicate with everyone. The humanoids, they're just slightly ugly. Elder Scrolls is very rough. There's just as many racist people as it does today. Although, I'm just rambling here. The description of the orcs is as follows. Orcs are a larger version of goblins. Indeed, scholars have often speculated that these two creatures are somehow related. Oh my gosh, I feel so sorry for the orcs. Nevertheless, they are stronger than their cousins and very dangerous. Often equipping themselves with weapons found by their opponents, they are not very overly intelligent, but are very cunning enough to stalk their prey and set up ambushes. I must also note out that orcs are not as stupid as you say, Manuel. They do make their own weaponry, they have their own clans. Just look at Skyrim for an example. You see orcs all around the place. Oblivion and Citadel. You have orcs being knights. There was one particular knight, can't even remember where it was, but you had to go rescue her, or do this deed, and then she'd be your follower. Moving on, we have the rat. Scavengers. These disease-ridden vermin crawl all over the city's sewers and make their home in places, such as a dungeon. Notes they are the weakest characters in the game. Creatures. Be warned, because they can cause disease as well. Moving on, we have the skeleton. Skeletons are indeed creatures, once human, now animated by the forces, either magical or supernatural. They are usually set to guard certain places, such as burial crypts or vaults. They have a single-minded purpose, and will track down their foes until their helpless victim is found and destroyed. Since skeletons are resistant to edged weapons. The only noticeable thing about a skeleton is its resistance to edged weapons, so if you're a meleeer, you should just use something that's not a long sword or a sword. Use an axe. Next we have the stone goblin. Now I'm not going to go into detail with the stone goblin because he's very similar to the other two goblins we've discussed. But in particular, this goblin has the abilities of range magic spell and is immune to mundane weapons. So what? Next we have the snow wolf. The snow wolf. It is rumoured that far to the north is a large, more dangerous version of the normal wolf. These snow wolves are said to be able to freeze their prey using some sort of magic. The only thing that's really interesting about this guy is he's a lot stronger than your average wolf, and he's got spellcasting, so just make sure you get up close and then he's quite easy to defeat otherwise. Next we have the spider. These spiders are the most dangerous animals you'll ever encounter because of their paralysis ability. They are highly carnivorous and will attack you even if you don't prod them with a stick, using their paralyzing venom to make you incapable of running away, and then they'll feed upon you. Ooh. Next we have the troll. I love the design of this troll in particular. Trolls are shaggy, green-skinned creatures which often are set to guard areas of high-level mages. They are generally stupid, but can regenerate any damage done to them quickly. Killing a troll is almost impossible, For doing so would require the damage to be done in such a way that it can destroy the flesh rather than just sever it. It is for that reason you should be cautious. Even if you've killed them, they can still resurrect themselves. Next we have the vampire. With the exception of the Lich, these are perhaps the most feared of creatures which prowl the land. Vampires are exceptionally intelligent, very strong and very fast. They are immune to iron, steel, and elven weapons, and regenerate lost health points. Silver weapons do double damage, however. One of the more interesting things of the vampire is the fact that they are immune to mundane weapons, vulnerability to silver weapons. They have fast healing, spell casting, can see invisible, and transmit disease. Next we have the wolf. These are cunning, dangerous hunters who inhabit mostly forests and glens. They use their highly developed sense of smell to track their prey. They hunt in well-organized packs and are known to be ferocious in battle. It is noted here that these guys are not very strong, so they're pretty good for the low-level player. Next we have the Wraith. Wraiths are the spirits of long-dead mages, trapped into their state by circumstances surrounding their death, or by being called up by a powerful wizard. They are often set to guard things or patrol different areas. It is known that Wraiths can cast spells and will do so in order to destroy those that trespass on their domain. Wraiths can also have the ability to see invisible creatures. Next we have the zombie. These undead are dangerous indeed, for they carry with them the curse of their death. Those who are struck by a zombie have a chance of getting diseased, which will slowly eat away at their health, eventually turning their helpless victim into a zombie also. And lastly we have the mighty Jagathan. Jagathan, the Imperial Battle Mage of Ariel Septon VII, the arch-traitor to the Empire. His abilities are as follows. He casts spells, and he puts himself in a protective life field, cocoon, upon his death, making him almost invulnerable in melee combat. So how would you defeat a Jagathan, you were probably asking? Well, we will just have to see, won't we? We've got to collect the 8 pieces of the Staff of Chaos. Anyway, guys, that was my rather long commentary on some interest on all the monsters in Arena. It's not really a guide as such, it's just sort of introducing you to some of the characters or monsters that you'll be facing in the Elder Scrolls Arena. I hope you enjoyed this I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed it enough, please subscribe. And I do videos like this every single week on the Elder Scrolls Arena. And if you love the Elder Scrolls Arena and you haven't seen my Let's Play, check out that video as well. I will link it somewhere in this video. Bye!